Can comedy go too far?
Sometimes on a larger property it's quite hard to find the meter, and then
It's a sort of haven for menstruating women.
if you're saying that we're not quite sure what a podcast is, then then how sorry if I'm being, but how do we know this isn't a podcast then?
Well, I'm saying it's not a podcast. Okay, I see what you mean.
I mean, I'm just trying to just make. I'm completely with you on it, but
I'm not putting it on a podcast. I don't know how it works, but I'm not putting it on there, so it can't be that. Whatever a podcast is, it isn't that. That's what I'm saying.
Even though we're not completely the kind of the boundaries of what is and isn't a podcast, you're saying that's a bit of a. Yeah, that's fine.
No, I've said enough. I've said enough about
it.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
Should we ask her to do a joke?
Mm-hmm.
I once watched my mum eat 2 firelighters because she thought it was
Still got that cough.
feta cheese. So
What's the joke?
that she ate a couple of firelighters because she thought it was feta cheese, and then it goes on to when I ask her to go to hospital, she says it's okay because she doesn't smoke. So the joke is she misunderstands the danger.
You don't need to explain the joke to us. We're pretty sharp on getting. That's our trade, our meat and drink,
Right.
if you like.
Meat and drink, like meat as in meeting someone, or meat as in like flesh?
Well,
now,
lovely.
excellent, very good.
Ambiguity.
So never clarify.
No.
Clarification is the death of humour. Somebody said that once.
The
Yeah.
enemy of
Nietzsche?
comedy. Nietzsche, I think it was Nietzsche. Was it?
I think so.
It was notoriously quite funny.
I do find this a little bit offensive, this joke. You seem to have deliberately chosen a Greek cheese.
Yeah.
Wildfires in Greece only last year.
Yeah.
Do you not think this is going to
It's sensitive.
it's it's sensitive area, and you just feel like you've run roughshod over it, over that sensitivity.
That's it.
Is that the phrase? Like Caerphilly, you could have chosen Caerphilly because they never have any wildfires in Wales.
Like a Caerphilly cheese. But she didn't eat the cheese. She ate a firelighter.
Cheddar.
She wouldn't think a firelighter looks like
Cheddar.
cheddar because
But Caerphilly's crumbly, that's why I chose it. I've put a bit of thought into this to try and help you out.
Gorgonzola's a very funny word.
That's true.
That's a missed opportunity. You could use gorgonzola.
Feta's not even a funny word, so you've shot yourself in the foot sort of twice there. Yeah, gorgonzola. Try it with gorgonzola. Have you got the cashews there? They're really nice, aren't they?
Give it a go. Let's hear it.
Okay, my mum once ate 2 firelighters because she thought it was gorgonzola.
Take out the fire. I think the firelighters are confusing things a bit.
They are, yeah.
So just have that she ate gorgonzola, and then let's go with that.
My mum once ate some gorgonzola.
Yeah, lovely. Lovely. Just actually,
Brilliant.
it's also the way you intoned the word gorgonzola was.
Almost like I'm confused.
Yes. No, that's good. Again, we're back to ambiguity, aren't we? So that's a good thing.
Ambiguity, confusion. Hard to tell apart sometimes.
I jumped so
Actually, just
high.
while she's doing this, Charlie, there was just something I was going to ask you about the because I've been working on a sort of Gen Z joke.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I mean, I know it's not pronounced Gen Z. Would you say Gen Z or Jay-Z?
Oh, I see.
Which way do you go on the pronunciation with that, Gen Z or Jay-Z?
Jay-Z, I don't know if you know this, but Jay-Z is an artist.
I thought it was
a musical. No, it's a musical artist. It's a he.
A
person, yeah.
And when was he born then?
Good question.
Just around the millennium. I think I am a bit confused about this, honestly.
He was a bit before the millennium, I think. If you bring him into it, then the Gen Z, Gen Z, Jay-Z, that's too much of a cocktail, I think.
All right.
So I'd maybe knock that one on the head.
Yeah, I think I will actually.
Does that help?
Well, was Eva? She was in the middle of a joke, wasn't she? What's
Shall we get back to it?
There's two parts. The first part is that we don't have trampolines up north in case we bounce too high and see prosperity in another county.
Gosh, that'd be high.
Yeah,
And
you're
then-
very high still.
The second is that I did bounce too high, and because of the gravity on the way down, it sucked out my period.
Okay.
Just
Right out. Okay. It's visceral, that. I don't know if it's funny, but I tell you what it is it's actually a fantastic business idea. Picture this. I'm going to pretend I'm in a boardroom. Picture this. You have a trampoline. They have trampoline parks,
You're
don't
pitching,
they?
aren't you?
I'm exactly right. I'm pitching to you.
okay.
You have a trampoline park where the sole purpose is it's a sort of haven for menstruating women who want their periods sucked out of them.
So that they could decide to bring on their period earlier.
In your words, you've put that in your words, not mine, but yes.
I feel like you're pitching now, Eva.
Yes.
This is good.
Yeah.
And I love it.
What about in an existing trampoline park, a trampoline just for people on their periods?
Right.
No, it has to be purpose built for me.
Yeah.
I don't want any sort of.
You're going a little bit half-assed, if that's an expression I can
Yeah.
use there. You're neither in nor out. You've got to commit, or I would say, as a comedian and as an entrepreneur.
Not an entrepreneur.
You said it wrong, but yeah.
Is that going to get a Charlie Bowers tick, that one, or is that more of a?
I'm going to do one of those squiggles. I don't know what they're called. Do you know what they're called?
No, I've never seen that before. I've never seen anything like that before.
It means a sort of an approximation of a joke is what I'm implying there.
Okay. Well, I think you've been generous there, honestly.
I went to university to study.
Should we do it?
Divinity.
Actually, should we do a listener letter?
Good idea.
Time for a listener letter, I think. Dear Joke Clinic, my friend Pete was fired from his job for telling a joke to his boss that she said was disgusting and misogynistic. I won't repeat the joke because I know you read these out live on air and I don't want you two to get fired either. It's very considerate, isn't it? Personally, I thought the joke was hilarious and she was probably just overreacting. Thanks, Graham. Okay. Well, thank you, Graham, for your letter.
Second letter from Graham, I think, isn't it? We've had one from him before.
We have. He writes in a lot. Perhaps to answer the question that you didn't ask, can comedy go too far? I think that's what he's getting at, isn't it?
I think it is, yeah, absolutely.
And the answer, I think, is, well, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Depends on the circumstance. So hopefully that
Should clear that up, shouldn't
clears
it?
that up. Have you got any other thoughts on that?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thanks, Graham. It sounds quite pleasant, doesn't it?
I studied Divinity at university, which most people know is the study of religion, not what I thought, looking for water with sticks.
My brother-in-law studied Divinity, and I'm pretty sure there was some stuff on finding water with sticks. It was like a kind of vocational element, which was very useful to him afterwards, actually, because all the airy-fairy stuff is hard to make any money, but the water divining, he made a nice little business out of that, actually.
So did he work for the water?
Wessex Water.
Wessex Water, right? Okay.
He used to do meter reading mostly, and then a bit of water divining along the way.
So sometimes they have trouble finding the water, and they employ someone to come in with their sticks.
Yep, he could find the meters as well. You know, sometimes on a larger property, it's quite hard to find the meter, and then the sticks.
That's useful.
How long was this course that you did then in the divining stuff, Eva?
In the theology, it was 3 years.
3 years.
takes that long to find water.
To study religion.
So what on earth were you doing all that time if you didn't do any water divining at all? That whole 3 years, it seems almost unbelievable.
Just sort of learning about the world and the different religions.
But nothing about how to find water in the world.
Well, water into wine, that sort of stuff. But outside of that...
You can do that?
That's more useful then.
Time for an announcement.
Oh yes.
We've got an announcement, haven't we? The Joke Clinic Awards nominations are going to be opening soon, aren't they? Very
soon.
When is
it? Next week, I think.
Next week. What day
is it today? Next week-ish, anyway.
Okay, so keep an eye out for that.
Where should they keep an eye out for that, Charlie?
In the newsletter, I think. Nominations, voting.
The voting slip.
The voting slip. It's a postal slip, isn't it, I think?
Yep.
So send in your postal slip. Is it attached to the newsletter?
First class.
But it's an email, isn't it?
Do not delay.
And we'll get those nominations in for the Joke Clinic Awards 2024.
Yes, correct.
Next joke. I dated a magician, and he was always saying things like,
Would this
"Is
be a
this your
good moment
card?"
for Metaphor of the Week? Should we do Metaphor of the Week now?
Metaphor of the Week, my favourite part of the week.
The humble tin of chopped tomatoes. I always keep one of these on my desk when I'm writing my Edinburgh show. How many tomatoes do you think are in that can? How many tomatoes do you think will be in there?
Was it 400 grams? 20?
Doesn't matter, does it?
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter.
No?
Question is,
Yeah.
who's chopping them?
Oh.
Who's chopping the tomatoes? Who's chopping the tomatoes?
Machine, is it? The machine's in the...
You're chopping them. And that's the point. You're chopping them. Nobody's going to chop those tomatoes if you don't chop them.
Okay.
Is that useful?
Yes. You chop them, and even if it is a machine, an automated machine like they have in the factories, somebody's still got to push the button.
It's a metaphor.
So you've got to push that button.
Aren't they already chopped?
Yes. Because you've chopped them, that's what Walter's saying.
They sort of bought them chopped. Are you thinking about like plum tomatoes, a tin of plum?
It could be. It's not really. It's not really the point. Let's leave that one there. Okay.
Okay.
I think we're done with that one.
Metaphor of the week. Thank you, Walter. Lovely.
More of a parable.
Next joke. Do you want another mini roll?
Yes, please. Off you go. Give it a go.
Give it my best shot. Dated a magician.
Sounded like the American then, didn't she?
We're gonna shoot from the hip.
That could be an angle you could take.
Partner.
I dated a magician. He was always
You said that.
doing tricks and magic, and he would often say, "Is this your card?" And I would say, "Yes, that's my debit card. I need it back because I have to pay for everything because you're a magician." This your card? Debit card?
Oh, I get it.
Oh, you're drawing a sort of comparison between like a pack of playing cards and how many debit cards have you got? Obviously, you'd have to be careful though, because you'd have to make sure that they were either expired, I suppose, or somebody else's debit cards, so people couldn't take money out of your account.
Yeah.
Because on those little card readers people have now, you can take money quite easily just by wafting it in the direction of a card.
Well, the other problem I've had now that we've gotten onto this is if you've got 52 debit cards, that's a lot of PIN numbers to remember, isn't it?
52, 104, 208 minimum. If you've got four
You're right.
numbers on the pin.
Yeah, exactly right.
Oh.
Is it 4 numbers on a pin?
52 debit cards.
Yeah.
You're right. What was it? 208?
208 pin numbers.
Mm-hmm.
No,
There aren't even 208 numbers anyway, are there?
I'll be the first to say it. Maths isn't my strong suit.
It's a nice little pun in there. Maths isn't my strong suit. Lovely.
Yes, with the
Brings
cards.
us back to the...
Oh, absolutely. So you could say that as well. You could say, I've got 52 debit cards. Struggle to remember the PIN numbers. Maths isn't my strong suit.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
What's that? It's a...
Callback
Yes.
to
Callback.
something you haven't
Good.
said.
You know the terminology anyway. That's
You're
good.
on the right tracks.
You need a lot of water to grow rice. That's what they say.
That's a saying, isn't it?
It's an old Japanese saying.
Mm.
From the Ming Dynasty.
Right. You're very you're a bit of a history buff, aren't you?
I am. I do know my history.
Isn't in Ming Chinese?